Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of You Skipped That. I'm Alex Grace.
And I'm Dan Clark.
And welcome back. It's the first of the year. We made it through Christmas. We made it through New Year's.
It's a brand new start.
Yes. In fact, that's relevant to the movie we are watching today because this movie was originally based on William Shakespeare's Twelfth Night.
Okay.
Which happens to be the day this episode is coming out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I looked at the calendar and I went, wow, that's a Monday.
Huh.
So here we are.
Here we are.
The movie I am talking about is the 2006 teen comedy She's the Man, starring Amanda Bynes and Channing Tatum. Vinnie Jones is in there, as well as David Cross.
Yep.
A weird combination of people.
It's a weird cross-section, yeah.
Yeah, the cast in this is bizarre, to say the least. But let's just get to it. What'd you think?
I wasn't super crazy about it.
That's fair. That's fair. I knew this wasn't your kind of movie going
it's not my kind of movie, and it's based on Shakespeare, which is not my kind of thing.
Right.
Shakespeare and ADHD don't go real well together. I'm like,
That's
those
fair.
words don't make sense to me. So when you were talking about it being relevant because it's based on 12th, I'm like, you're going to have to walk me all the way through this one. There are parts of it that I liked.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was aware before or if this just kind of made me realize I'm not a huge Amanda Bynes fan.
Okay.
And this is a very Amanda Bynes movie.
Oh, incredibly. Yeah.
All the stuff that I liked was, Channing Tatum being funny and David Cross being hilarious and Vinnie Jones and, some of the ways they dealt with stereotypes and all that. Not so much a fan of Amanda Bynes. So, which is an issue in this movie.
A place we'll have to agree to disagree.
That's fine.
Now, granted, I think the big difference here is I saw this movie at the age you were supposed to see this movie.
Yeah.
So that means it's got a lot of nostalgia for me.
And I saw this movie at the tender young age of 38.
Yeah.
I can see...
Totally fair.
Yeah, I can see... Again, totally fair on your end, too.
Right.
I can see why... With nostalgia goggles on, this could be a fun little...
But you always talk about, watching a movie and hearing the other person react and going, oh man, they're enjoying this. I knew from about 5 minutes in, I'm like, oh, Dan's going to hate this movie, and I feel bad about that.
I wouldn't say I hated it.
You did react to this more positively than you did Twilight, so...
Yeah, I have rankings of the movies you've shown me and how much I liked them, and because we've talked about doing an episode relating to that. This is not going at the bottom of the list.
Nice.
It'll go towards the bottom of the list.
Fair, totally.
But it's not as bad as Twilight.
Few things are.
Yeah, well,
Sorry, Twihards.
Yeah, it wasn't my kind of movie. It's a very kind of teenage, coming of age thing. Which I've already come of age.
Yeah,
well over half my life ago. You know, I'm glad you like it.
Oh yeah. And I mean, some of the things I like are definitely intersecting with the few things you did like. Mm-hmm. David Cross cracks me up in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
So hard.
Every time he showed up, I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. He's a fairly raunchy comedian when you see him doing stand-up and all of that. The fact that he shows up in a lot of teenage...
Kids movies, even.
Yeah. He's in this. He's in one of the Pitch Perfect movies.
He's in Alvin and the
Chipmunks, yeah. And then it's kind of like when I used to watch the show Cash Cab.
Yes. And
I went, I wonder what that guy does outside of this. And I looked him up, and he's a pretty raunchy comedian.
Yep.
Or finding out that Bob Saget had a mouth like a sailor on stage.
Totally.
It's weird.
I mean, honestly, it was kind of shocking when Patton Oswalt was the voice of the rat in Ratatouille.
Uh-huh.
That guy's in a Disney movie?
Yep.
David Cross cracks me up. His bizarre little song to welcome Sebastian to the school.
Right.
Was amazing.
His whole thing about male pattern baldness.
Uh-huh.
His little speech there at the end on the field, and then...
The bullhorn.
Yep.
Yelling in Malcolm's face.
Yeah. And then Vinnie Jones just cutting him off at one point.
Yeah.
Pushing him off. Yeah, there's good stuff in here. Channing Tatum is very funny.
Channing Tatum is hilarious in this.
I also like...
This is actually like his first major film role.
I believe it. He looks young enough. I did like the way that this kind of played with some of the stereotypes in ways that I didn't expect. You start watching the movie, and the kind of crux of the movie is Amanda Bynes plays Viola, who is pretending to be her brother so that she can play soccer. There's other stuff that goes into it. But she goes to her friend in it's a very Mrs. Doubtfire kind of way.
And even the whole transformation scene just seems ripped right out of Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, she goes and says, "Can you make me a man?"
Yeah.
And after some convincing. And he is presented in the way that gay people typically were back then.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to be the flamboyantly gay friend throughout. And he's certainly gay.
Yeah.
Like, I believe that's at the end he's seen with a guy.
Yeah.
So it is confirmed. But he's not the...
It wasn't played for a laugh. Ever.
Yeah. It wasn't the wispy voice and, just, oh, I know what I'll just go out there and I'll kiss a man and that'll distract everyone or anything like that. Or even playing up the, man, I did so well on you that I'd date you or anything like that. It was never played like that. Also, Channing Tatum is never played as a dumb jock.
No.
He's played as a reasonably intelligent. He's not a genius or anything. He's a reasonably intelligent guy.
And a reasonably emotionally intelligent guy, too.
Yeah, though he tries to hide that, which...
Yeah.
And even Olivia, early on, I was like, here's our villain.
Right.
And she's not. They portray her pretty sympathetically, which is a pleasant surprise to the point where she does have a happy ending.
Yeah. Which
I didn't see coming. So it did surprise me in some ways that I enjoyed.
Really, the overarching plot actually stays pretty close to Shakespeare as far as I can remember.
Right.
It's been a long time since I've read Twelfth Night. I do remember most of the characters have perfectly happy endings, you know? Malvolio obviously doesn't, who Malcolm is based on, who has a spider named Malvolio, which I thought was a fun touch.
Right.
Duke Orsino, of course, standing in for the Duke of Orsino. They do a couple of clever things like that.
I know
Illyria and Cornwall are the two groups that are at odds in the story.
Yeah, there's some clever stuff done here. I never read Twelfth Night.
Yeah.
I should be more specific. I was never required to read Twelfth Night. I don't think I've ever actually, I hope none of my English teachers or professors are listening to this, I've never actually read a full Shakespearean play.
Bro.
I can't.
You already got the diploma. They can't take it back now.
I know, but I like some of those teachers. And I care about what they think of me. But no, I've skipped out on a lot of Shakespeare. I read the Cliff Notes.
You know what sold me on Shakespeare?
What's that?
Was somebody who finally said that it baffled them that it was always held up as like this grand standard of playwriting and stuff, when for his time... he was basically the Michael Bay of playwriting.
Yeah.
He wrote stuff the people wanted to see.
Right.
There were these highbrow guys writing stuff that all the lords and ladies went to, but the people were going and seeing Shakespeare.
Right.
And that's why it stood the test of time.
I realized pretty early on when I was required to read parts of Romeo and Juliet, I was like, I just don't get this. But we had to read The Tempest one time.
Okay.
When I was I believe, senior in high school. And they had a very handy kind of book where it had the text on one page and then it would have little notations. And on the opposite page, it would say what that word means.
Okay.
And in some cases, how to pronounce it. You know, it's not boatswain, it's bosun. And this is what the bosun does. So I was reading along. I was skimming along.
I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, and it said, some line said, who? And I had a little notation. I went, you know what? That's the one word on this page. I thought I knew what it meant. I'll play along. What does it mean? I looked over on the other side. Who equals whom? I went, okay.
All right.
Fine. And I got further in, days later, and it had whom notation. And I went, fine. Let's go. I looked over and went, whom equals who? I do not understand anything. I don't understand the explanations of what's going on here. So yeah, that's where I'm coming from when it's Shakespeare.
Totally fine.
So yeah, Shakespeare has never really held a sweet spot for me. Though I will say I have seen Shakespeare. My college did The Tempest at one point. I've seen other productions of it. So
you've seen The Lion King?
I've seen The Lion King. I've seen this. I've seen The Lion King, but I've seen actual productions in the Shakespeare. And it is better when you're watching it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Sometimes.
Well, yeah, a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where I'm coming out with Shakespeare. I don't think that I even got the opportunity to approach Twelfth Night, though.
Yeah. And then, you were too old for, all that.
I was show. The original cast of All That was mine with Keenan and Kel.
Right.
Amanda was right at the...
that second...
Yeah, she was right at the tail end of it. I remember, Ask Amanda, please. I do remember when she went off to the Amanda show and watching a little bit of it, but she was kind of the tail end of... Yeah. And then I haven't seen anything with her in it until now. Yeah. So it's a big gap between...
then and now, yeah. Yeah, this obviously helps me strike several things that I was going to put on the list. Trying to think if there's one that might slip in. Probably not, but I think this is probably one of my favorites of hers. This and What a Girl Wants, although I like What a Girl Wants more because Colin Firth is just so Colin Firthy in it.
Okay.
Yeah, like we said, David Cross is really good in this. Vinnie Jones is a lot of fun, too.
He shows up and he reads his lines in a capable...
He shows up and does Vinnie Jones.
Right.
That's all he does. That's all he ever really does.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think he brought anything to that character that wasn't on the page.
Brought a certain grumbliness.
A little grumbliness.
A little Roy Kentian-ness.
Yeah.
If I were making that movie today, Brett Goldstein would be my choice.
If that movie was being made today, it would have tons of Ted Lasso references throughout.
Yeah, I believe.
I believe and believe.
I do love that you and I both have that sign hanging up in our house somewhere.
Yep.
Big Ted Lasso fans. In fact, I'm rewatching the show right now.
Right.
Which really made it obvious just how Junior League the soccer action in this is.
Yeah.
And there's not much soccer action in Ted Lasso, but what there is really good. Partially because most of those people have played soccer.
It made me understand soccer.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's just, I don't know, we got to put the ball in the net more times than they get it in the net. And there's a guy standing right there that's going to try to stop us.
And he's got 10 friends who are also going to try and stop us.
Yeah, they don't really figure in all that much.
Not often.
The goalie on the opposing team is the only one who has a name.
Yeah, it's true.
And it is kind of funny. The opening scene, it shows them cavorting on a beach, and Amanda Bynes' character, Viola, is in a relationship with the goalie from this other team. And he seems like a perfectly pleasant guy. Like, they have some decent chemistry together, and it's fine. And then the girls' soccer team gets cut, and she wants to try out for the boys' soccer team. And he gets cartoonishly like, a girl can't play with guys. From that point on, he goes from being a fairly sympathetic, well-rounded seeming character with decent chemistry with anyone to a cartoon villain. He's making faces and laughing and like doing stupid moves and trying to psych her out during the ball game. There is no depth to that character. Yeah. And there was at the beginning. That character seemed like he was just never meant to be window dressing, but he seemed decent as far as that.
Right into just
hand
mustache twirling.
Yeah.
Villain territory. Also kind of enjoy Malcolm throughout this, who is, in fact, the mustache-twirling villain of this.
Yeah.
In spite of no mustache.
And despite him not really being wrong.
Yeah, he's not wrong. Like, something weird is going on.
There's something going on with that guy, and he figures out what it is.
Yeah.
Without being...
With some impressive detective work, I might add.
Yeah. I mean, he's a bad guy in that he's got pictures of a girl that he doesn't even know, and a pillow of her.
On a pillow. Yeah.
And then, like, a full shrine of this girl.
Yeah, it's full-on creepy.
Yeah, he's a bad guy in that sense.
Yeah.
But his main motivation is there's something going on with that guy. I'm going to find out what it is.
Yeah, and he does.
And there is, and he does, and he's punished for it.
I think he's more punished for making a spectacle out of it.
He takes it to the principal.
And then the principal makes a spectacle of it, yeah.
The principal's the one that walks out with a bullhorn and says, prove it. Which, to Sebastian's credit, he does.
He does.
Like, I didn't see that one coming.
Right.
Yeah, they're right there on the middle of a soccer pitch, I believe it's called.
Nicely done.
There you go, thank you. And says, that's a girl. And at this point, it is actually the brother back. He goes, no, I'm not a girl. And he goes, yeah, well, prove it. He goes, okay, and just drops trowel right there.
Right in the middle of the soccer field, which prompts Eunice, one of my other favorite characters in this movie, who has just an impressive amount of orthodontia.
Yep.
To say, and this is why soccer is the world's favorite sport.
I did like after Viola flashes Duke, when the dad goes, is it just me or is there more nudity in this soccer match than most? It's always nice in absurd movies like this when someone points out, this is really weird, right?
This is weird, right?
This is not normal.
Yeah, nothing that's going on here is normal.
There is one character that just goes, what's going on?
Yeah.
What are some of your thoughts on the movie?
You know, for me, it's just a good, stupid, fun, it turned my brain off for an hour and a half movie.
Yeah.
Have a few laughs along the way. I love anything that adapts something into a totally new genre. Or even just totally recontextualizes something. This isn't the best example of that, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of better adaptations of classic books or stories or whatever.
Shakespeare plays,
even, yeah. But this one's kind of fun in that it just totally takes it, puts it in a different genre, totally changes it's a sports movie, kind of.
Right.
At times. It's like, yeah, instead of a big battle at the end, it's a soccer game.
Right.
A couple of things that never fail to get a laugh out of me. The whole carnival sequence, there's a couple good laughs in there, but the end of it is the best. When the woman who is so clearly Monique's mom storms out of the crowd and goes, "This is supposed to be a lovely children's carnival," and drops a swear word at the end of that.
GD, yeah. Not even a light one.
Yeah.
She goes full GD
in front of a whole crowd of children.
Yep.
That one always gets a good laugh.
Speaking of children, the fortune teller.
Yes, I see a kitten gasping for air.
And it turns out that she's talking to a 7-year-old.
Little tiny 7-year-old girl who's just wheezing, terrified.
That got a laugh out of me.
Yeah, I did hear that one. When Malvolio the spider ends up in Duke and Sebastian's room and they're jumping on the bed screaming.
I was expecting to see more of that spider.
Yeah, right?
It's kind of like the rule of threes, you know? You see him in the case, you see him in the room. Like, I was expecting him to pop up at some
other point, yeah.
You know, have it be kind of some obstacle for Viola.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, she's hiding, and she's not dressed, and all of a sudden the spider crawls across, and so she jumps out, has to explain away why something. Yeah. Kind of a very Mulan style or something like that.
My favorite part of that is when they're standing on the bed screaming, and they're arguing over who should do something about it. And Duke's like, "You should do something about it." And Sebastian, who's actually Viola, goes, "You're the guy. I mean, the bigger guy."
Yeah.
Another one that always gets a laugh out of me is when Duke's friend from the soccer team, Toby, is sitting there watching Sebastian and Duke go out on a double date with Olivia and Eunice. Toby says, "You know, when I wanted to go out with Eunice, you all made fun of me, but now he's doing it, it's cool. Screw you guys, I hate high school." Always gets a laugh out of me.
I hate high school did get me.
Yeah.
We all thought it in high school.
Everybody did.
No one had the bravery to just shout it in the middle of a Pizza Hut.
And to just point out why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty obviously a Pizza Hut, right?
Yeah.
It had certain Pizza Hut vibes.
Right. Classic Pizza Hut vibes,
yeah,
too.
like old school Pizza Hut. Back when it was cool.
Yeah.
I also enjoy the earlier scene in that restaurant where Paul, Viola's friend who made her over and everything into Sebastian, is helping her secure a little more social status.
Yeah, little clout.
By bringing in a string of girls to pretend to be into him.
And then Viola having to immediately pivot when Sebastian's actual girlfriend comes in and just panics and breaks up. While hiding her face. And
in increasingly ridiculous ways.
Yep.
A couple pictures of Pepsi at one point, a menu, a big old stack of pizza boxes. Yeah. That one has a couple good laughs, too.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, there is a little bit of interesting trivia in this.
Okay.
There's the most obvious one. When they first started filming this, Amanda Bynes had no idea how to play soccer.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Did she know how to play soccer by the end of it? Because those are obvious doubles.
No, she actually is doing most of her own soccer action.
Not some of the more athletic ones.
They said most of it.
Really?
So I would say besides some of the like flip kicks and stuff.
I was going to say flip kicks, they make a point of just, oh, look, she happens to be right in front of the sun and you can't see her face. Yeah.
But there's a couple of decently athletic moves where I'm like, it's kind of hard to hide that that's her there. Right. The part where Duke walks into the locker room and snaps Malcolm with the towel, and Malcolm yelps and is grabbing his face. That's because he accidentally hit him in the eye. So that is that guy really freaking out.
It's good they were able to save that.
Yeah.
It would suck if he'd gotten whipped in the eye and they hadn't been able to salvage the take.
Did you know Vinnie Jones actually played professional football?
I believe it.
Yeah, from 84 to 99.
Nice.
Played for Wimbledon, Leeds United, Sheffield United, Chelsea, and the Queen's Park Rangers. A couple of those are like Premier League clubs.
I'll take your word for it.
Several of them get mentioned in Ted Lasso.
I'm Richmond till I die, personally.
Richmond till you die. Absolutely. Tink. There it was. Dadgummit. Made it pretty far.
Yeah.
Here's a really dumb piece of trivia. It's not the only movie Channing Tatum plays a guy named Duke in.
Okay.
Because he's also in G.I. Joe.
Oh.
Playing Duke.
I didn't see that either.
Didn't see that either.
No.
You didn't miss anything.
Nah, that's what I hear.
You know what the best parts of the G.I. Joe movies are?
What's that?
Parts with Snake Eyes.
You
know what Snake Eyes is famous for? Not talking.
Yeah. I think I was watching it on TV and a friend called me during the opening credits, and so I put it on mute and talked to him for like an hour and just kept thinking, this looks like a horrible movie.
It's got some fun moments, but
my friend's doing me a solid right now.
If I had to pick that or the A-Team, I'd watch the A-Team any day.
Oh, A-Team was fantastic.
A-Team was great.
Yeah. I'm still mad we didn't get a sequel.
Same. Yeah. Another fun Shakespeare reference hidden in the movie. There's a couple. It's the Stratford Junior League. He's
from
Stratford-upon-Avon.
Yeah.
The restaurant that we pointed out kind of seems like a Pizza Hut is actually named Cesario's, which is actually the name Viola uses in Twelfth Night instead of Sebastian. Because in Twelfth Night, she's not actually pretending to be her brother. She's just pretending to be a man. But yeah, apparently, love him or hate him, we actually have Amanda Bynes to thank for Channing Tatum being in movies. Because apparently, she actually pushed for him to be cast in this after seeing his audition. She's like, yeah, he's good. He's funny. He'll be great.
He's hilarious. Yeah,
he's great in this.
Not just in this.
But yeah, he's great, period.
Yeah. He's great in the Jump Street movies.
He's so good in the Jump Street movies. It's a shame we've both seen those.
Yeah.
We may just have to watch those for fun one day. But yeah, apparently, they wanted to go with somebody who had a name, but she pushed for him instead, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So.
And now he's a bigger star than she ever was. Of course, she's kind of...
had her own issues.
Well, willingly taken herself out of the limelight at this point. She's
retired.
She has removed herself from competition, so to speak.
But yeah, so that is really... most of the stuff I have to talk about this.
It's a pretty,
it's pretty straightforward movie.
It's all right there on the screen kind of movie. It's a movie that you're going to like or you're not going to like.
Right.
More power to you either way.
One of the rare times we've been divided on a movie. We've had ones where one of us liked it more.
Yeah. Right from the get-go, this had kind of stick-it energy. It is a kind of sports movie.
Yeah.
From the mid to early 2000s.
The big difference is Stick It has Jeff Bridges and this does not.
Yeah. One has Jeff Bridges, the other has Vinnie Jones. And there's nothing wrong with Vinnie Jones.
There's nothing wrong with Vinnie Jones.
He's not Jeff Bridges.
He can't bump a movie up like a whole half star just by being in it.
Yeah. He certainly kept it from going down a hat.
Right, yeah.
But as I said, his whole role was on the page. He didn't bring much to that. It's a little grumble, but yeah. Yeah, I didn't like the movie. I would call it inoffensive.
Right.
It's not a harmful movie. It's not one that I didn't like because it offended me in any way.
Yeah, and it didn't... You didn't leave it going, I feel worse now after watching that.
There was a point in the movie where I started thinking, I'm going to have to find some nice stuff to say about this.
Yeah.
And about that time, Dave Cross came on the screen and went, there it is, right
there. There it is. There's nice things to say about it.
Yeah.
So this is yet another movie that I discovered because of movie gallery DVD sales.
Okay.
Where I just grabbed everything that looked vaguely entertaining.
Uh-huh.
I picked this one up because I had seen What a Girl Wants on ABC Family or something a couple months earlier and was like,
Amanda Bynes.
Amanda Bynes is entertaining.
Yep.
Throw that in there. So I think I spent a grand total of like $250 on this movie.
Yeah. Nah.
So I got more money's worth out of it.
Yeah. I ain't hating, man. I've seen my share of movies where I'm like, that girl's attractive.
Yeah. And I was like 13 at the time,
I
think.
That's the right age.
It's like, yes, this looks funny and no other reasons.
Yep.
So what about you? What were your movies of choice in your teenage years? Like, what do you look back on and go, I watched that?
One that I rewatched a few years back and went, oh, no, that's not. I thought that was good, and really, it's anything but. And I might get some flack for this, but Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
That's an edgy teenage movie.
Oh, big time.
I remember showing that to my mom and her going, that's not good, right? I'm like, you just don't get it.
Yeah.
The guy in the red tracksuit's just like a symbolism for the man,
It is definitely a movie for people who want to think they're deep.
Yeah, I watched a lot of horror movies back in the day that I can look back on now. I don't even have to rewatch them and just go, yeah, it was not. You didn't need to go past, like, Halloween 2.
Yeah.
That was a good place to stop. Same with, like, I've seen all of the Friday the 13th movies, and I can look back and go, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
That was not a valuable use of your time. Friday the 13th, 1 and 2 and 3. Once he gets the hockey mask, it actually drops off until you get to Jason X, in which case it becomes magical again.
Yeah. I don't know if good is the right word, but
not
it is
good,
magical.
but magical.
Yeah,
that might be one that makes its way on the list just because it's so weird.
So weird, huh?
It's not even horror at that point. It's just weird. That's the future one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that cover.
Not scary at all. In fact, funny for most of it. But I'll have to rewatch that, see if that's a good one.
Okay.
I mean, I got more into the stuff that you're talking about when I was in college because I worked at Movie Gallery. And so I could just grab movies off the shelf and rent them for free as long as they're more than 30 days old. And so I had a couple where I was like, I'm going to rent this movie because it looks interesting and for no other reason. Oh, is Jessica Biel in this? I didn't know that. Who could have known that? My coworker would be like, she's on the cover. I'm like, is she now? I just was looking at I don't even see that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's what got me into watching Stealth.
I didn't see Stealth. I saw the movie London, which no one else saw, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, no one else saw Stealth either. That's a good thing.
No.
How she or Bradley Cooper or any of the other people in that movie ever had a career again, I'll never know.
Wasn't Jamie Foxx in that?
Jamie Foxx is in that, yeah. Did not enjoy that movie.
But yeah, that's really when I started watching a lot of good movies too.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I hear Rocky's pretty good and I'm not paying for it, so I'll just go and rent it, and 2 hours later my life was changed.
Yeah.
Oh wow, film can do so much.
It can.
The next weekend I was watching Last House on the Left, not one that we'll be watching on this. You wouldn't like it. I barely found anything I liked in it. I had less of that period of just like, I'm just gonna, like your bargain bin.
Yeah.
I had more of like I'm just gonna walk down whichever movie catches my eye as I am walking up and down the aisles throughout the course of the night. I'm just gonna grab that.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes they're classics, and sometimes they're not.
I got more hits. Like, I won't say a lot of them are classics, but out of most of those movies that I got in those movie gallery sales, I rebought them several years later on iTunes, so I'd have them on my phone.
Right.
To take with me everywhere. A couple more that are going to be on the list. Timeline's one of them.
Okay.
Again, definitely not a classic, but I think it's a fun time travel movie. The one we've both seen. I didn't see the first Spider-Man until I got like a cheap DVD of it.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater.
Yeah, I did go see the second one in the theater. It came out while we were visiting my grandma, and my dad had stayed home, and he went and saw it. And he went, I will take you to see this movie, but you need to understand there's going to be some stuff in this movie that scared the crap out of me. Specifically the surgery scene. He's like, scared the crap out of me, and I don't want to hear it from you when it scares the crap out of you.
See, I thought that scene was funny because it's all directly out of Evil Dead.
Right.
Which is, Sam Raimi's older movies. And so I was like, oh, this is just a big homage to, less homage, more just kind of blatant callback.
Yeah.
To these movies that I love.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. That was just as scary as seeing Bruce Campbell pop up. Like, oh my God, it's the thing.
See, I was 9 when that came out, so big difference.
Yeah. It was 2004.
2004.
Yep.
So I was 12.
Because I was between high school and college.
I was 12, but I was also a little bit of a weenie.
Was.
I will come across this table at you, man. Having a podcast together with you or not, I will come across this table at you. I mean, fair, but also...
I'm trying to think if there's ever been a movie that I've seen in the theater where I've just been thoroughly not okay. And I kind of, this scared me, and so I don't want to hear it out of you kind of thing. I don't know that there has been. There have been scenes that have grossed me out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not real big on needles, and so when I went and saw 2, and there's a scene with a lot of needles. Didn't do so hot with that. But it was mostly just scenes.
Yeah, I mean, I've mostly avoided movies that would scare me too much.
Right.
I'm not a big horror guy. That's just not something I find enjoyment in.
Yeah, I thought about that going into October of this year. I'm like, I could really, throw some stuff at him.
Now, I will tell you, I do like a good psychological thriller. So if you have anything in that line...
I didn't feel too bad throwing Wait Until Dark at you.
No, loved that.
But
that's right up my alley.
You want to talk about Socials?
You know what? I would love to talk about Socials.
You should talk about it.
Yeah. So we have a Facebook.
Well, I'll go ahead and say it. I'm intrigued.
There you go. There you go.
Please go on.
You can find that Facebook page.
Where?
By searching the words, "You skipped that?" ?
I really thought you were going to say, on Facebook.
We also have a TikTok, an Instagram, and a Threads.
You don't say.
I do. And all of those are just at You Skipped That. No question mark. Yeah. No spaces.
Right.
Just search that, and there we are.
Uh-huh. Cool. Well, we will be back next week with another movie.
Dan's this time.
It'll be my movie. I'm excited about this one. I haven't seen this movie in a while. I hope it's as good as I remember it. So we'll see. We'll see next week.
We will indeed.
But until then, I'm Dan Clark.
And I'm Alex Grace.
And this has been You Skip That.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.